Hi, I'm Amy Cohen, a gymnast from Brown University, class of 1992, and the lead named plaintiff in Cohen et al. Versus Brown. It is an honor for my teammates and I to be here tonight. We would like to thank the Impact Fund for nominating us to join the Class Action Hall of Fame and for recognizing the contribution our class has made in the fight for gender equity in sports.
I'm Jen Soutad, class of 95. We must thank the amazing team of lawyers led by Arthur Bryant and Lynette Labinger, who not only spent more than 5 years litigating the case, but then the next 25 monitoring the university's compliance. Many thanks to Donna Lopiano and the Women's Sports Foundation, who have always stood behind us.
I am Lisa Stern Kaplowitz, class of 1995. We would like to thank the champions of women's sports at Brown, including but not limited to the late Arlene Gorton, Carolyn Norris, and of course our coaches, the late Jackie Court, who led the team as head coach for 32 years, and the many other assistant coaches who helped her along the way. We also must thank Sarah Carver-Milne, the Brown University gymnastics coach for the past 20 years, who has taken the gymnastics team to the next level, winning multiple Ivy championships and accolades.
I'm Eileen Rocchio, class of 1993. Finally, we owe a lot to the Brown University gymnasts ahead of us who initially drafted the Title IX complaint for the Office of Civil Rights, the members of the women's volleyball team who joined us, and the many coaches and female athletes around the country who supported us in person and from afar.
In many ways, we all have similar stories. My parents instilled in me a strong sense of justice and the belief that I could do whatever I wanted in life if I set my mind to it. They didn't tell me that some doors were closed or that I would have to climb over walls to reach my goals. So when I felt I was treated unfairly, I spoke out. I first became aware of inequities in athletics when in second grade, I beat the school pull-up record. The teachers wouldn't let me post my name because the record was only for boys. After years of seeing obvious disparities, when the university eliminated my team and I learned that this was in direct violation of a federal law aimed at guaranteeing equal opportunities for men and women, I did not hesitate to act. When my teammates and I took steps to hold Brown accountable for following Title IX, we never imagined that these actions would have implications for schools around the country. We didn't think the case would go to court, let alone revitalize the national discussion around Title IX compliance that had been virtually dormant for over 15 years. As our case made its way through the courts, we realized that the class was so much larger than just our team, and the issue so much greater than the survival of Brown gymnastics. As plaintiffs, we took the responsibility to become spokespeople for Title IX, speaking at high schools, camps, universities, and conferences around the country. Our case was filed 30 years ago. While significant progress has been made in gender equity, there's still a long way to go, not only in sports and education. This battle is not over at Brown or around the country. It is my hope that in my lifetime, all Americans will truly embrace the idea of gender equity, which I believe will benefit everyone.
Prior to attending Brown, I competed as an elite gymnast, participated in national competitions, and achieved high rankings. For the most part, gymnastics in my early days was a very individual experience. I trained at my local gym with gymnasts at various skill levels, but in order to achieve my goals, I needed to practice extra hours and travel far to meets on my own. Beginning with the first practice, I realized that my participation on the Brown gymnastics team would be completely different. My teammates wholeheartedly embraced me and taught me everything there was to know about being an athlete at Brown. I quickly understood that for the first time, I was part of something much larger than myself, and that when I competed for Brown, I was representing a university and a whole athletics community. I loved every minute of it and was beyond delighted when we won the Ivy League championship title for the first time in Brown gymnastics history during my freshman year. When the university announced its plans to cut the funding for the gymnastics team in my sophomore year, I simply could not accept it. And when it came time to fight, I was ready. I learned to be a fighter from my mom, who battled for her place among her male peers on many occasions. She had to petition her high school to let her take mechanical drawing instead of home economics. She went on to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1953, where she was just one of 6 women in her class and the only woman in the study of electrical engineering. She taught me to believe fiercely in my potential to do anything, including athletics. While the movement towards equity at Brown has been slow since our case, our story created a spark that continues to grow and inspire female athletes around the country. It has been both gratifying for me and my teammates, former teammates, to watch the progress of the gymnastics team and know that talented gymnasts and other women athletes can and do go to Brown to compete in their sports and contribute their many talents to the university.
As Eileen alluded to, this case is when many of us found our voice and our conviction to fight for what is right. Jen and I were only 17 when we first met the lawyers, and working through the case, we found our passion for gender equity. My teammates and I have gone on to become teachers, lawyers, doctors, executives, and gender advocates. Many of us have pursued careers in traditionally male-dominated fields, and because of sports, had the confidence to do so. Personally, I have spent my entire career in finance as an investment banker and executive, and now a professor. Additionally, testifying on the stand and fighting for gender equity through this case inspired me to launch the Rutgers Center for Women in Business to continue to remove barriers, build community, and empower women. I also co-founded Brown Athletics Women, an affinity group to support current and former Brown University women athletes, and have served on the board of Power Play, a nonprofit that empowers underserved girls through sports. I believe that for women to achieve parity in the workforce, it's critical to ensure continued opportunities for girls and women to play sports. A recent study by the Women's Sports Foundation and ESPNW found that 94% of women in the C-suite played sports growing up, and over half played in college. Because of sports, the skills we mastered in the gym, like other athletes did on the court, the field, the rink, leadership, teamwork, time management, confidence, and work ethic, are what have made us better leaders, better team players, and better coworkers after graduation. It's been almost 30 years since we've played, but sports continues to be an important part of all of our lives, and our athletic experiences definitely contributed to our successes post-college.
We wanted to leave you with some thoughts on the future of women's sports and Title IX. That we're talking about and celebrating Title IX today is a huge milestone. Back when we filed the lawsuit, there was little to no discussion of its application, purpose, or effect. Shockingly, there aren't many statistics to support what we know, that Title IX has created millions of opportunities for girls and women to play sports. As a founder of a new sports property called the Basketball Tournament, and in my work trying to get a new nationally televised women's basketball tournament off the ground, it is ever more clear that we need organizations and systems to track and measure opportunities, salaries, numbers of female coaches, dollars invested in girls and women, national television exposure, and the like. Having said this, it won't come as a surprise that we all agree there is so much more work still to be done. Our hope for the future of girls and women in sports is that it doesn't have to be a question or a conversation any longer. Why did I get put on the secondary field? Is it because I'm a girl? Can I make as much as the men do? Why do I have to ask to be treated equally? Can I play? We've seen great progress in the last 30 years and hope for more to come. There's real palatable momentum around women's sports and gender equity right now. We can all feel it. Thank you again to the Impact Fund for this incredible honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.